Welcome to the latest episode of the Motivate Supplier Showcase. I'm Neil Smith, CEO of Motivate Automotive consultancy, and in this series, I'm sitting down with the innovators behind the UK's most exciting automotive businesses, whether they're game-changing startups, industry disruptors, or established legends. We'll be diving into the latest digital and physical products currently shaking up the UK vehicle retail space. If it's making waves, we'll be covering it. My guest this week is Kerry Thompson, CEO and founder of Akeno, a business that specialises in pragmatic and engaging business transformation. Now, Kerry, I've known you for a couple of years and we've collaborated on a couple of projects within the UK automotive sector, which I'm sure we'll get to later. To enable our viewers to get to know you a little bit better, a regular feature of this podcast series is the guest icebreaker. So please, tell us 3 interesting facts about yourself, 2 of which are true and 1 that isn't. We'll then let the viewers ponder this during the podcast, and I'll ask you to reveal which are true and which is false at the end.
Great question, Neil, and lovely to chat to you. So for me, I've gone for a license theme. So my 3 points are that I have my motorbike license, I have my shotgun license, and I have my light aircraft pilot license.
Fantastic. So I'm not too certain which one I'm more scared of there, Kerry. Probably the shotgun license, but anyway, let's get to that at the end. So look, thanks for that, Kerry. We'll allow our viewers to consider this during the podcast, and I'll ask you to reveal the fake fact at the end. Okay, let's learn a little more about Kerry Thompson. Tell me about you, your background, and how you ended up where you are today.
Amazing. Thank you, Neil. So as you said, I am founder of Akeno Limited, a business transformation consultancy. And in effect, what we do here is that we specialize in helping ambition-rich but time-poor businesses to deliver long-lasting change. So for me, it's all about making businesses more profitable, more streamlined, better places to work, because after all, a happy workforce is a productive one, or maybe all of the above. And what I'm best known for is being very practical, positive but honest, and focused on impact. So as a quick pit stop to my early life, I grew up in a very modest working class family, very proud to be a modest working class background. But what that actually did is really shaped my work ethic and my grounded approach to my work. So I really value honesty, resilience, pragmatism, and that's my approach to the business that I have here. So as a quick start to where my career began, is I actually started life in a more tech-based world, specifically business intelligence solutions, and providing those solutions and services into public sector of all places. So very different to the automotive world and others that I find myself in today. But transformation and business improvements has always been that key theme, that golden thread all the way through. And for me, what I noticed from an Akeno perspective, I noticed a gap between strategy and execution. So businesses have often got great ideas, but limited time and resource to make it happen. And it was these insights that really drove me to create Akeno, to bridge that gap between ambition and ideas and the ability to then roll your sleeves up and deliver, and ultimately to be able to see and reap the rewards. And so to finish off is that why I do what I do is because I really love to help businesses to cut through that complexity, to get clear, tangible ideas and plans about how to actually deliver the transformation that their businesses need. And I'm really passionate, as you know, from the work that we've done together, I'm really passionate about transformation from the heart. So people often say I'm people focused in what I do. So people focused from a board and a senior leadership team perspective, but also down to the frontline workers and stakeholders. So I'm often told that I'm more than a spreadsheet. So it's not just about spreadsheets and frameworks and approaches. It's really about that idea of turning chaos into clarity. So building the teams that really thrive through the world of change and innovation. And what a world we're in right now. It's changing every day. So it's hopefully a great time to be doing this kind of work.
Yeah, and I think you make some valid points there, Kerry. I mean, a lot of the work that I do and we've done together is based on that implementation and then continual sort of monitoring, managing that change through people. And we got involved with a project 18 months ago probably, which was originally sort of an IT and infrastructure review, but very quickly that became a lot more than that. It grew arms and legs, and it was clear that there were process and people areas that needed to be focused on as well. So, when we look at that process change and business implementation, I'm dealing with dealers of all sizes, and those dealers don't have the time, the experience, the knowledge, or the wherewithal to actually implement some of these changes that are needed right now. And you're right, this industry at the moment is going through significant change. You know, from from the current sort of issues around vehicle sourcing, around finance sales, around cost of living crisis. All of that is impacting on these dealers, and a lot of these dealers are dealers that have come through from selling a few cars on their drive to now running multi-site businesses, and it's just making sure we can get that messaging across and bring people on that journey, isn't it?
It really is. And as we've seen, again, as you've said from the work that we've done together, is that these brilliant businesses, these fantastic entrepreneurs that these dealers are working so hard in the moment. So to hit the sales figures or to hit the after sales targets for this week, this month, this quarter, because ultimately that's what it's about, right? It's about being profitable, being a successful business. And the work that you and I have done is to allow those dealers and the people within those networks to continue to do that and to do a great job. But we come in and it's that extra pair of hands, it's the extra lens, it's the external set of eyes to come in and ask some of the questions that sometimes in your own business, and we can be guilty of it ourselves in our own business. We get so wrapped up in the day to day. Often you're looking in the weeds, and that's where you're stuck because that's what today is all about. And the work that you and I have done together is to come out, look above those
Yeah.
weeds, and look for those opportunities. And it's not kind of I think often with things like business transformation, it can all sound too fluffy, it can sound too big and too scary. This is ultimately about helping businesses to make more money, to save money, to be better places to work, and therefore have a more productive team to again, the project that you referenced there, we were identifying ways they had a high turnaround of staff. So how can we reduce that turnaround to therefore reduce the cost and the time of having to recruit more people? And that, again, you and I could talk for ages about that one project and
Yeah.
the extra money that we identified that was sat there, but just because of being stuck in the weeds, they weren't able to identify. So that's what I'm so passionate about, is just going in and making a difference to businesses.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot now clearly around mindfulness and ensuring that those employees, stakeholders within the business, staff, whatever we want to call them now, they are engaged and bought into the business, and certainly with respect to the journey and the strategy ahead, that they're all pulling in the same direction. And I think our ability to sort of step back from the day-to-day challenges that these groups face now, and then come back a month or so later with a report that sort of identifies areas for improvement, implementation plans, and then the ongoing monitoring. That's the value that certainly Akeno, through the work you do, delivers. So I suppose probably just to get a flavour of where Akeno sits at the moment, just give us a flavour without naming names of
Of
some
course.
of the sort of projects you've worked on in the last couple of years within the automotive industry.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So often, I guess the entry point that I come into the industry, and again, this can be on dealer side and also on the manufacturer side as well. So often it's that fresh lens, fresh pair of eyes perspective. And the key to entry points are often the first is often around strategy and vision. So depending on the business, the business, if it's a larger business, there may be a business vision. So there may be a business strategy even. But the work that I do is actually to come in and work with the operational teams. So this can be everyone from the leadership team in the business. It can be working with the board. It could also be working more focused at a sales or an after sales or a parts type level as well. And in effect, what we're doing is we are understanding the business vision, or if there isn't one, we'll create one together. Um, and then building the strategy, but importantly, the operational tactics as well in order to achieve that strategy. So ultimately, what we're doing is we're looking at where we are as a business today, where we really want or need to be as a business in the future, in whatever time frame that is, and then basically defining the operational tactics in order to get us there. And the important thing there, and when I've done this practically, as I say, both at manufacturer level and on dealer side, is often the leadership team. So whether it's the CEO or one of the directors of the leadership team that bringing us in, ultimately they could do this on their own. They're clever people and they're often stacks of experience in this world. So they could sit in their office on their own and they could create a strategy and they could go out to everyone and say, here it is, do it. But that doesn't build the collaboration, and it doesn't also bring the external lens of people like you and I, of who have worked in other business, who can offer challenges, and also other industries as well, who can bring challenge into that piece. So that becomes, and the end point of that, what I might talk about in this little approach is 3-2-1 strategy. So the idea is in 3 days, 2 expert consultants, you get 1 output of a strategic plan. So it's a fully self-managing, self-trackable strategic plan with operational tactics, with assignees, so responsibilities, with priorities, with measures of success. And some of my businesses have taken that and they've run with it, and they've never needed me ever again because it's that comprehensive. They've run with it. Other businesses have said, that's amazing, Kerry, but we just don't have the time or the manpower to be able to do this. So they've asked me and perhaps wider people in my team to stay and help deliver it. So that's been one entry point. It's all centered around the strategy, the vision, the planning. Other times, the entry point has been the work that you and I have done together, which is I affectionately refer to it as often as squeezing a business. So what I'm doing is I'm going in, I'm squeezing a business, and out pops the issues, the opportunities, again, that external lens, the external challenge, where there are opportunities to make more money, to streamline the business, to improve the people side of the business as well. But importantly, it's also about recognizing the strengths of the business. This isn't just all about looking for faults. It's not about that and opportunities. It's also about recognizing the strengths of the business. Because often, again, when we're stuck in the weeds, it can be too often for those strengths to be missed. If we can identify them, we can first of all protect them, and secondly, we can do more of them. So for me, that's been the 2 key entry points into the work that I've done just lately.
Yep.
I suppose the third one, if I may, just add a very quick third one, which is something which is a bit of a hot off the press, which we are kind of developing, and we've got a couple of case studies already, but it's a new one that we're talking about. It's basically a tool called TRI, which is Transformation Readiness Index. Now, what this does is a really quick survey-based approach that gives you tangible outputs around how ready your business is for transformation. So basically, where the potential hurdles are for you to achieve your success. So before you invest a whole load of cash into that new CRM system that you want to come in, or the AI solution that's going to come and fix all your problems in your business, is what the TRI solution can do is it can actually give you some tangible outputs as to how ready you are and where you might want to focus a bit more attention, either before you start or during the activity of whatever change it is that you're going through your business.
Yeah, and I think that last one actually works works within the space I work in as well. And I think probably the point to bring out here as well, clearly in your background, you've worked with large OEMs on particular projects that have had to be rolled out across the network, and you've gone and done dealer visits on that basis and brought the teams within each of those dealerships along on that journey. And then those other sort of group projects that are more open-ended in terms of, look, just come and have a view on what we're doing, and that's the squeezing the business piece. And I suppose the point from my perspective is that it doesn't have to be a large dealer group we're talking about here, right?
No,
That's
absolutely.
key, and they are the people that are not, maybe sometimes not in a position to deal with that more transformative approach because they are in the weeds. But I was talking with a dealer a couple of days ago, 400 car sites, so quite a large independent dealer. Brilliant dealership, looking to expand. Started to understand, though, that there were areas of the business that if they look to expand, they're going to lose control of because they haven't got adequate processes.
Right.
They allow their staff to do what they want to do in a sales environment, which has worked for them, to date. But they're acutely aware now that moving to the next level means, well, okay, I'm not going to be on site every day because I might have another site. I might get another 2 sites. I can't be bouncing around the sites, being that hands-on owner driver of the business. And I think that sort of element of not lack of control, but it's just the way these business develop. These guys are incredibly entrepreneurial. They built businesses from nothing, from selling a couple of cars on their driveway. But now they're getting into that sort of corporate, or they don't want to be corporate mentality, but they certainly need some sort of business processes and systems. And when we have those discussions, and your point to look identifying the gaps, the one thing I'll do with dealers straight away is SWOT analysis and just go through those strengths and tell them, look, you're doing a great job. However, there are a few weaknesses here, and these are your opportunities. So go away and have a look at that. And I work exactly the same way as It's around saying, right, here's the report on what we've discussed. If you need my help, great. If you want to get on with it yourself, great, not a problem. I don't tie people into contracts
No.
unless they want to tie me into a contract because they want my support over a period of time. So in terms of, so that's me speaking a lot about myself there, Kerry. So back to you, because it's all about you.
It's the work that we've done together, Neil. That's why it's so relevant, because we've done this firsthand together.
Yeah. So look, maybe just give me. I know there was some of the projects you worked around in agency world when there was the chat around agency, which a lot of dealer groups or OEMs have seemed to back off a little bit. But you did quite a lot of work on that agency piece, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose on the OEM and the manufacturer side, what's been really valuable from working on that side is to be able to see both sides of that fence. And in fact, both my OEM and manufacturer clients and my dealer world clients really value that, because I've seen both sides and can often then add some insights to the other about the way that world operates. So on that manufacturer side, I've been really fortunate to work on some real industry first projects. And as you say, some have taken off and flown, others less so. So I suppose just to reference one which worked really well is going back, 2016 now. So, almost 10 years. Is that I was asked to join a project, and the concept was that the SEAT factory in Barcelona, the factory had decided that we wanted to think of new ways to sell cars. And the idea in the end, the solution was to sell cars in shopping malls. So the idea absolutely was, and the little mantra we had was that this is not a dealership in a shopping mall. It's not a dealership in a shopping centre. What we meant by that was not that there's anything wrong with dealerships at all, but if people wanted a dealership experience, they go to a dealership. The idea of the shopping mall experience is more akin to an Apple store type product experts as opposed to sales folk, that kind of thing. At the time, it was a really cutting edge project. And so the project that I joined was to launch Store 1 in Lakeside and Essex, followed a year later by Store 2 in Westfield White City. Now, what was great about that project was it encompassed everything about true business transformation. It was people, because we were recruiting people from both auto but non-auto backgrounds. Some of our most amazing members of staff, when it came to actually, selling the vehicles and the product, was we had an ex-London cabbie who was just brilliant at chat, because that's what her entire life had been. And then we had a young man from John Lewis. So he'd gone through the John Lewis kind of apprenticeship program. So his customer service skills were incredible. And so the people part of the transformation was massive. The processes was, again, something that I worked heavily on, defining things like, for example, how you get a car transporter in and out of a shopping centre at Christmas. We're absolutely hacking off tens of thousands of Christmas shoppers. And then the system. So the idea from the system was it was all self-serve. And for the first time, that approach was a form of agency. So there was no haggling in the store. There was no ability to be able to say, if you give me an extra £100 on my Part X, then I'll buy it today. You valued your Part X. It was, what the system said, and the car was the price it was. Now, that was a really fantastic program, and for the whole time the stores were there, they were some of the top performing stores in the country. And in fact, they were used as, the work that I did there was used as blueprints for other stores, like the Volkswagen store in the Birmingham Bullring.
Yeah.
So really great to be part of that. And as you say, lots of work with, there was a dealer who was actually operating the stores on their behalf, and it was fantastic. But then again,
just to jump in there, I was involved in a similar project over in the Baltic States with the largest used car independent retailer out there, and we did the same, set up 2 stores in shopping malls, and again, exactly as you said, these were places where people could come in and browse on a digital screen and touch screen and go through and just ask basic questions. It wasn't a heavy sales environment, but it was more of an awareness piece and opening up that stock that dealer had, the 1,000+ cars, to people that were out on a Saturday morning, shopping and go in, have a quick coffee and not feel pressured.
Yes, and exactly that. And it was a really great project to be part of for so many reasons. And as I say, largely for me, it was the variety of what we were doing, the people, process, the system, even the culture of the store, as you say, and what the environment was like as well. So it was amazing. And it was an early form of agency, which, as we know, kind of going back a few years, was a real hot potato subject for many brands. So some of the work that I did from an agency perspective was, first of all, educating brands and their suppliers, like their marketing teams, etc., as to what agency actually is, what it means for the dealer, what it means for the customer, what it means for the manufacturer as well. So there's lots of advisory type work that I was doing at that point, because myself and also my wider team had delivered variations of the agency sales model in various markets globally. So there was that part of it. But then for the brands who decided that that's it, we're off and we're out of the blocks, and without mentioning any names, is some of the work that I personally did and that my team did in that was around business readiness. So again, what we mean by that is that there was the IT folk were working their IT magic. So they were doing everything to make sure that the systems were all aligned and that all the plugs were in the right place, so that on go live day, when someone flicks that switch, everything fires up and the systems are ready to go.
Yeah.
But as you and I know from the work that we've done together, is systems is one part of it, an important part of it, of course. But the business readiness is actually, from the processes and the people and the operational excellence perspective, is that, do the dealers know what to do with the systems? Are they fully engaged? Back to that vision and strategy piece. Do they even know why the brand are doing this? And what the vision is and what the plan is? So I spent lots of time working with the dealers, actually on behalf of the manufacturers, just to work with them on retailer roadshows, dealer roadshows, but also then going out and listening as well. So not just broadcasting, not just talking at them as to what was going on, but doing lots of listening as well in terms of where their fears were, kind of what they were excited about, because there were there's some sort of pockets there of excitement in terms of opportunities, and then to be able to take that and feed that back to the manufacturers in a way that was digestible to them, so that obviously plans could be adjusted and amended moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that's that top down versus ground up communication. Where does that meet? Where are the influences in that journey, in that process? And that is sometimes that ground up piece is not necessarily ignored, but not given the weight it should be, because those are the guys on the front line who are trying to still, agency model or not, they're still building relationships, building rapport with customers, and they need to be heard, really, don't they?
Absolutely. And I think, and regardless of the sales model, whether it's agency, whether it's wholesale, whether it's genuine, non-genuine agency, and everything in between, is that when I, as a customer, walk into a showroom in order to buy a car, I'm not really buying it from the brand. Even if it's true agency, and I'm actually buying it from that human being in the showroom. And I've done some work. I've done a global after sales project, which was amazing for, again, I won't mention the brand, but it's a global after sales project, which was fascinating. And at the time, the brand were having some issues with product quality. And I remember a situation where I was sat waiting to talk to a service advisor, and someone was getting their hand over their latest car. So the silk sheet can come off, so the obligatory ta-da moment. And you could see the smile on their face. It wasn't their first product of the brand. They've 5 or 6 vehicles in this brand. Big smile. And as the chap went to leave, he shouts across to the service advisor I was waiting to speak to. And he says, "John," thumbs up he did, "John, I'll see you in a week, buddy." And off he went. And so I was next to speak to John, and my curiosity got the best of me. And I was like, "John, what did he mean, see you in a week?" And he went, "Probably when it breaks down." But no way. But the difference there is that John, the salesman, and Adam, the sales chap, who had just done the handover, are so good at what they do that even when the customer's car goes wrong, maybe in a week, and very tongue in cheek, of course, it's okay because John will sort it, and John will sort it so well that experience will help to inform Adam's next sale, because that customer is going to come back to those human beings, and also because they've got their process so nailed that when something does go wrong, even during that handover process, it didn't take 2 hours because it was the customer's 5th or 6th product. They tailored the handover. It was all relevant. And that customer is going to keep coming back again and again and again. And that loyalty is gold dust.
Yeah, look, loyalty and retention. It's the cheapest way to keep your customer base where it needs to be, isn't it? So look, Kerry, we're coming to the end of our time. I know it's gone very quickly. In conclusion, Akeno don't just think about strategy, transformation, and change. They do it. They're deeply and genuinely passionate about people, teams, and organizations. Their positive, values-driven approach is one that lifts energy, creates collaboration, generates excitement, and as a result, ensures measurable transformation results. I've really enjoyed our chat today, Kerry, and thank you for taking the time to take us through the services that Akeno is able to provide. Before you go, however, we need to clear up the icebreaker question for our viewers. So, which of those interesting facts was in fact false?
So to throw it back to you, Neil, you know me well. What one do you think that I'm lying about? Which one's false?
I think the shotgun license.
You're wrong. I have a shotgun license. I have my motorbike license. I don't yet have a light aircraft license, but I'm about to have one.
Right. I'll just remember to treat you with the respect you deserve now that I know you could pull the shotgun out at any stage.
And just to clarify, I don't use the shotgun and the motorbike license at the same time, Grand Theft Auto style. I
Yeah,
promise.
so no drive-bys. Excellent.
No,
All right, that's
absolutely
good.
not.
That's good to hear. So look, thanks again, Kerry, for your time today. For more information about Akeno, visit the website www.akeno.co.uk or message Kerry on LinkedIn. Thank you for watching, and a quick reminder that here at Motivate, we offer 1 hour remote one-to-one dealer discovery sessions for free. To learn more about these sessions and why you should book one, visit our website www.motivate.co.uk. Goodbye for now.